The most impactful transfer of the 2025 offseason is in the portal now. It is John Mateer, the quarterback from Washington State. This guy is awesome. If you did not watch any Washington State games this year, I want you to go to YouTube. You're watching on YouTube now, or if you're listening in podcast form, click on YouTube when we're done with the show. Just watch some highlights of this dude. He is spectacular. Imagine Cam Ward, who came from Washington State to Miami. Imagine Cam Ward, but devastating on design quarterback runs. Because Cam Ward's a good scrambler, but you're not necessarily running a lot of QB power with Cam Ward. You're kind of, snapping it to him and just letting him cook. You can snap it to Mateer and let him cook, but you can also just say, you know what? We're going to pull these guys. You run behind him, and he does some incredible things. This guy is going to make whatever program he goes to better immediately. Now, the assumption is that program that he's going to is Oklahoma, because Ben Arbuckle was the OC at Washington State. He's now the OC at Oklahoma, 29 years old, wonderkind. We think that's where John Mateer ends up, but a new suitor has joined the fray, and it's a familiar move. Miami, the place where Cam Ward went after he left Washington State and then became a Heisman Trophy finalist. Also making a play for John Mateer.
Could you make the case that Miami would be a more desirable landing spot for Mateer at this point?
No, because his OC's at Oklahoma.
I know. It's but if you took the coaching connection out of it, where would you rather play? Like what players would you rather play?
Well, the thing with Oklahoma is you actually, if you're John Mateer, you probably got to help them get your playmakers. Like you're probably going to have to help recruit your playmakers there, which I think is perfectly fine. Miami, they're going to have a better more. Line. Miami has a better offensive line. We know that. And Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator at Miami, is an air raid guy, speaks the same language as you. So it would be a fairly seamless transition there too.
You know who's at Miami today?
Who's at Miami today?
AC Concepcion.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I'm just saying, from a playing standpoint, you could make a case that Miami is a more desirable place to land for him outside of who he knows on the coaching staff. Yeah.
John in the chat much earlier asked a really fun question, and it tells me that John's definitely been reading up on things. Said, which Jordan Brand school is Zachariah Branch going to? I will point out that Oklahoma is a Jordan Brand school. So that is the rumor that he lands at a Jordan Brand school. So for those who don't know what the Jordan Brand schools are, it is Oklahoma, Michigan, North Carolina, Florida. Am I missing one? I think UCLA is Jordan Brand now too.
Yeah, but Mateer is going to go to Oklahoma, I think, right? I
think so too. This feels like,
and it could be the first step too for Oklahoma, because he's awesome. Oklahoma has every single thing a program could ever need to be great. And they've been consistently great. Hey, they made Lincoln Riley look good because they're so great. To wrap it back around the beginning. But Oklahoma, to me, has untapped potential, and I actually love Brent Venables as a human. I think that they can do it.
And they're going to have, as Sean points out in the chat, now, I realize they're losing some people like Danny Stutzman's going to the NFL, but they're going to have a good defense. Brent Venables is going to field a good defense.
Yeah, there's no question. That's a guarantee, right? Because he's a defensive mastermind.
You've had Wendy's Nuggs dipped in sauce, but have you had them covered in sauce? Wendy's new Saucy Nuggs take the crispy and spicy nugs you love and turn them up to 11. Choose from flavors like honey barbecue, garlic parmesan, and buffalo, and of course the hot variations of those flavors. Hot buffalo sounds really good today. Or if you're a real heat seeker, try the spicy ghost pepper. I dare you. It's only on Wendy's signature Saucy Nuggs. 7 delicious ways to try the nugs you already love. Pick a flavor, grab some extra napkins, and prepare to nug like you have never nugged before. For a whole new way to nug, it's got to be Wendy's. at participating U.S. Wendy's.
And like also too, I don't know if this is true. I don't know if there's a way to look it up, but it's just my perception that fixing a bad defense is so much harder than fixing a bad offense. Like I feel like
because a bad offense is fixed by bringing in the right QB, and a bad defense, there's a lot more moving parts you have to deal with.
So like if you've noticed that like teams like, and this is a struggle with, maybe this is just a Lincoln Riley thing, but like teams that have had bad defenses for years, right? Like it's like, oh, they brought in a new OC or DC.
Mac Brown like version 2.0 at North Carolina. Like it didn't matter who they brought in, the defense couldn't play. Yeah.
All these teams that have traditionally had bad defenses continually have bad defenses. So like from that aspect of it too, like from a playmaking standpoint, I understand why Mateer might like to play at Miami, but from a program, like the thing that's interesting is like if you had to buy stock in which program will break through first, Oklahoma or Miami, who are you buying that in right now?
Oklahoma is the blue chippiest of blue chip stocks. The only more blue chip stock than Oklahoma is Ohio State. I've said this a million times. Ohio State's never had a downturn in its entire football history. Oklahoma has had one in the mid to late 90s before Bob Stoops got hired. That's it. One. They're always good.
How long does a downturn have to be for it to be a
couple
downturn?
Years. Are
they having one now?
They still had a 10-win season in between the 2 years they consider to be mediocre.
True.
That's the problem. Like that's Oklahoma's good always.
Yeah, they are. The kid's electric though. It'll be exciting to see where he goes. He's the most impactful? That was your take?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's gonna be the one that makes the biggest impact. And
what's that like naked?
What? You don't think that's saucy? Out of all the players transferring?
The number one quarterback on the board is the most impactful transfer? Is hot to you?
Okay, we know he's the number one quarterback on the board. I'm not sure the casual fan knows, like, were they watching the CW to see John Mateer?
Well, I know, but I think that it's just become accepted by people that he's number one, right?
Anybody who's watched him knows he's number one, but I just don't think that many people have watched him yet.
Yeah.
Like he's going to come in and the fans who, not the people who are with our show every day, but the ones who flip it on when the games start are going to be like, holy crap, who is this?
Yeah, no, he's awesome. I think the casual fan that might be saucy, but I think if you like whittle it down to the basics of what it is,
so what you're saying
will be impactful.
I see where you're going with this. This is an Andy doesn't know his audience situation.
No, I get your audience, but you also know that your audience is really smart, which means that your take is not hot, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.